Hello there, I'm Cadet Barahona, and today's branch orientation briefing will be over the Quartermaster branch. My sources will be FM 3-10, Cadet Command Student Handout, as well as FM 4-40, Quartermaster Operations. Our agenda for today will be the history of the Quartermaster branch, its purpose, composition, career path within the branch, as well as any questions that you have at the end. Now, the history of the Quartermaster branch. The Quartermaster branch traces its roots back to the fight for independence of the United States, which was the American Revolution. Quartermaster branch originated on the 16th of June of 1775. Followed that, you have the Civil War, World War I, World War II, all the way up to the present day War on Terror. Now, why is the Quartermaster branch important, and why is the Quartermaster branch seen throughout all these different wars that we've had in our history? Well, you can't fight a war without beans and bullets. Now, you've heard that before. With that being said, it is very important for the Quartermaster branch to bring the ammunition, fuel, and food in order for the Army to continue its fight, win the war, and complete the mission. The purpose. This is the Army's definition of the purpose for the Quartermaster branch. Logistics operations are conducted through unified operations in a complex, interconnected, and increasingly global operational environment encompassing air, land, maritime, and the information environment. It is within these settings that Quartermaster units support Army, joint or multinational forces, providing support forces with the right equipment, supplies, and support in the right place at the right time and in the right quantities. Now, this is the definition, as I said, that the Army has for the Quartermaster branch. To make things simple, the purpose of the Quartermaster branch is to make sure that all the rations, all the bullets, all the fuel and all the water gets to the infantry. That being said, it is crucial that for vehicles to keep on moving, for helicopters to keep on flying, that the fuel is clean and the fuel is ready to be issued out. For water, it's very important. Sometimes you have a lot of hazardous material in the water, so you have the quartermasters go ahead and process that water in order for the different soldiers to consume and continue on fighting. We come to the composition of the Quartermaster branch. The composition of the Quartermaster branch covers many different MOSs within the Quartermaster Corps. One of them being is 92 Foxtrots, which are the Petroleum Supply Specialists. Now, Petroleum Supply Specialists are there to enable that fuel, bulk petroleum, is stored, processed, and issued to different equipment and different organizations. Now, here you have an M978A1, which is one of the equipments that Petroleum Supply Specialists have. With this, you can issue out fuel to both land vehicles as well as fixed wing or rotary helicopters. 92 Foxtrots also establish different systems such as refueling on the move, where convoys can move out, and if they do need fuel, then they can go ahead and establish that refueling on the move in order to keep the mission going and to keep that convoy not sitting still for too long. All the way through the Advanced Aviation Forward Refueling Area, which is the AA FARS. That's used for aviation and issuing out fuel to helicopters. For helicopters, it's very important to sample and test the fuel to minimize any accidents or to minimize any mechanical issues due to fuel consumption. That's one of the most important things that quartermasters have, is to provide good fuel to many of the equipment that the United States Army uses. Then you have the 92 Whiskey, which is your water purification specialist. As stated before, water is very important. Water sustains life, right? Without 92 whiskeys, it's impossible to continue on fighting if there's no more water. What 92 whiskeys do is that they supervise and manage the installation and operation of water purification equipment. Crucial to get rid of any of those contaminants that I spoke of earlier that might hinder the fight due to making soldiers ill. It's very important that 92 whiskeys purify that water in order to continue on and eventually win the war. You have the 92 Golf Cook and Culinary Specialists, responsible for preparing and serving food for Army personnel, both garrison and the field. Again, very important job to have because you can't fight if you don't eat, right? 92 Golfs are very important, and making sure that the food is edible, making sure that the food is not expired or spoiled in any way, and they have to abide by the food and safety guidelines issued out by the Army. You have your 92 Yankees, your unit supply specialists. Now, 92 Yankees maintain accountability and storage of all unit supplies and equipment. Now, what does that mean? It means that all equipment that you have issued within your company or battalion is run through the 92 Yankees. It is very important that you have a good connection with your 92 Yankee as a quartermaster officer in order to ensure that your equipment is fully mission capable, making sure that your equipment is fully accounted for, as well as making sure that you receive any equipment that you may need and ordered through the 92 Yankees. This is one of the, all MOS are very important, but 92 Yankees are one of the most important MOSs within the Quartermaster branch. You have your 92 Alpha, your Army Automated Logistical Specialist. These supervise and perform warehouse functions. They do the record keeping for your organization. They hold the spare parts and supplies in order for you to fix any equipment that might be down in order to bring that back up to becoming fully mission capable. 92 Alphas track unit maintenance, cost, and financial transactions, which is very important, as in every fiscal year you get a certain budget. The 92 Alphas will make sure that you stay on budget, as well as staying on budget and maintaining all your vehicles and equipment fully mission capable and accounted for. Your career paths. Once you graduate college and then you go on to BOLC as a quartermaster officer, your next stop will be Fort Lee, Virginia, where you will attend basic officer leaders course for 16 weeks. From there, you'll be placed in most likely a platoon leader position, where you might work in a forward support company, where you would support the company if you get deployed or go on a training exercise. You can be put in a brigade support battalion to support the brigade. As a platoon leader, you're in charge in a quartermaster, as a quartermaster platoon leader, you're in charge of making sure that fuel is ready and accounted for, making sure that fuel that is tested is good to go to be pushed into any vehicle that may need it. It also makes sure that your water purification equipment is up and ready to go just in case any emergency situation were to happen. Many Browning assignments for first and second lieutenant will be battalion staff, which would be going to your S4. Very important. If you don't get to be a platoon leader as your first duty assignment, being an S4 officer is crucial, as in it will help you better understand the branch and better understand and see how the branch works and how it ties in with many different branches that the United States Army has. Then once you get promoted from second lieutenant to first lieutenant, that's where you hold your executive officer position in the company. You'll go to captain's career course right after. Now, once you become captain as a quartermaster officer, you don't stay a quartermaster officer. Once you complete captain's career course, get promoted to captain, you tie in the quartermaster branch, the ordnance branch, as well as the transportation branch. From there, you'll most likely become a company commander. You'll be in charge of those 4 support companies, brigade support battalions. Broadening assignments for captain would be an instructor. You would become a brigade battalion staff, such as your SPO officers. You can be an ROTC cadre member, such as some of our cadre that we have right here, as well as a recruiter. Going in, you'll become, once you get promoted to major, you'll become battalion XL. Promoted more, stay in long enough, you can see the rank of lieutenant colonel and colonel, where you would assume battalion or brigade level positions. Now, as stated before, for lieutenant, year 0 to 4, you'll graduate BOLIC, assume a platoon leader position, executive officer position. Captain, you'll be a company commander, as stated also one of the broadening assignments, all the way up through lieutenant colonel and colonel. Now, questions. How important is the Quartermaster branch in the United States Army? As I said before, the Quartermaster branch is one of the most important branches because we cannot fight a battle or a war without ammo, without food, and without water. The Quartermaster branch and Quartermaster officers ensure that all those 3 things get to the infantry, that gets to any armor units, to get to any scout units, airborne units, you name it, whatever branch, whatever unit, the Quartermaster branch will be there to help support and sustain those fighting. What can I do with my knowledge as a Quartermaster officer outside of the Army? You can do so many things outside of the Army from being a Quartermaster officer. A good example would be working at Amazon. With your experience as a logistics officer, the sky's the limit as far as being a warehouse manager at Amazon. Not only Amazon, there's different organizations that require a logistics manager. Everything that you've learned in BOLIC, everything that you've learned in your units as a platoon leader or a company commander will come in handy whenever it comes time for the logistical aspect. Now, as a leader, you've been able to take charge of a platoon element, company element, if you stay long enough, battalion, brigade element. That comes in handy when it comes time to supervise others in your civilian job, such as being an Amazon logistics manager. Not to mention, the branch is very marketable outside of the military. You do gain a good amount of pay and incentives once you try to transition into the civilian world. What would my responsibilities as a platoon leader be in the Quartermaster unit? Well, a platoon leader in a Quartermaster unit, most likely you will be a FSC, for support company platoon leader, or for a fuel and water unit, fuel and water platoon. As a platoon leader, you're in charge of keeping track of, as I said before, your fuel, keeping track of your water, keeping track of how many rations you have on hand. You have to make sure that all the equipment is fully mission capable in order for you to deploy if the call to serve comes up at any point in time, as well as ensuring that your non-commissioned officers get their yearly reports. Will I only be a Quartermaster officer throughout my military career? You will not. You will not be a Quartermaster officer throughout your whole military career. Once you hit the rank of captain, you become a logistics officer, and you will take in the Transportation Corps. You're going to take in the Ordnance Corps as well as the Quartermaster Corps, and then that's when you become a company commander. But you don't have to stay in the logistics branch forever. There's many broadening assignments. As stated, you can be a recruiter, ROTC cadre member. The sky's the limit. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you for having me. I hope you learned a lot. Have a good day.